All right, so we're recording now. This is a chart analysis slash webinar session on Thursday, February 15th. All right, got the text box ready. So this is Bitcoin first. That's typically where we start. So as you guys can see, it is following our path pretty well. I expect it to kind of do a little pullback on this trend line before breaking through. It should break through on this next one or two candles. Once it breaks through, it'll probably find resistance around 10.5. It might come back down and retest lower, but either way, I don't think we'll be in this area for very long. It's going to break through, probably head towards the 11.5, 11.6 range. From there, we'll probably find some more resistance. That's a pretty strong area of resistance. Once we break through there, next stop is 13.5. This is a textbook reversal though, so we are looking very good for a new all-time high. I'm sure you guys are ecstatic to hear that. Okay, so this is Ethereum. Would it still be a good time to pick up some more Bitcoin? If you are looking for an entry on Bitcoin, I would wait for it to, well, let's take a closer look on what the probable pullback is on this. All right. So it really just depends on how much market sentiment carries this, because now that everything is over 10,000, the sentiment is that we are in good shape to keep buying, right? Now, technicals would suggest that there's probably a pretty good chance that this is going to come down to at least here before continuing. But there is a psychological barrier at 10,000, which is right around where the price is right now. So it's a little tough to say. I would say if you're looking for a long-term position on Bitcoin, I would probably wait and see if it pulls back a little bit more. Now, or I'm sorry, a short-term position on Bitcoin, I would wait for it to pull back a little bit more. If you're a long-term on it, then this couple percent is 3%. It's not going to make a difference in the end. I don't think we're going to go past the 23.6 because that's also an area of support. So it just depends on what you're using it for. If you're just buying it to put it into altcoins, I'd probably wait and see if you can get a little bit better entry around 96 or 9,700. It already did a pullback to 98.5, but then it went right back up. So I think it'll probably pull back a little bit farther to the 23.6. If we get really lucky, we might see it come back to the 38.2. But based on market sentiment alone, I think that's probably pretty unlikely. For long-term hold on Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think either is a pretty good entry right now. We're about to look at Ethereum, but Bitcoin has found its floor, I think. So this is a very clean reversal, which indicates that we'll probably see this come back and make an all-time high if history repeats itself. Every time Bitcoin has crashed like that, it has come back within the next couple months to make an all-time high. So if we break 20K before summer, I honestly would not be surprised. So you're looking at 100% return on investment at least, where from this entry right here, I wouldn't bother waiting for the 3% drop that is probable based on technicals. I would just buy your Bitcoin, buy your Ethereum, and be down with it. But we'll take a look at Ethereum real quick too. Chances that it comes down to retest the neckline, I think, are probably pretty unlikely. Let me pull it back up. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that that's very likely. I mean, it could. There is a trend line there, obviously. So that trend line kind of coincides with the 61.8 retracement. But I would say like a 20% chance if I had to put a percentage on it. Just because we've had so much bullish momentum out of the neckline, which is textbook head and shoulders pattern. And there's enough people that are looking at Bitcoin that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? There's enough people that saw this pattern that they're driving the price up to here. Selling our children. It's not a bad time, I don't think. But yeah, the 61.8 retracement level is an area to look for. I personally wouldn't wait for it to come all the way down there because I think it's probably pretty unlikely. But if it does drop that low and you have anything extra to throw in it, then it's certainly not a bad time. I think we've probably passed that though. So, Ethereum. Oh, sorry. We broke through this upper trend line right here, this resistance, broke through, retested. So this ended up becoming invalid. We went all the way up to the top and retested that trend line and then bounced right back up. So now we're kind of juggling in between these two trend lines. So now instead of this, we'll probably see something more like that. We'll probably see continued consolidation. It's possible that this breaks through here and does something like that. But one of these is going to go down, I think. On Ethereum, I would just buy right now. I mean, I'd buy right now or I'd wait for the 23 retracement, maybe the 38, but it's either going to do that. I know this is a lot of arrows. If we're going up, if it is going to retrace at all, there's so much market sentiment right now, there's a chance that it's not even going to pull back at all. So that is just about every scenario that I think is probable for Ethereum. So if you want to wait, best case scenario, you might get an 880 entry. It's about $50 from where it's at. Again, my argument is that if you're long-term on Ethereum, which you should be, that's less than 5%, really wouldn't stress about it. I would just go in. If you're trying to buy and then transfer to an exchange and wait the hour for the transfer and you don't want to lose any money in the meantime, I would probably wait for a stronger level of support. Because right now it's not really at anything. It's just in a range in between two areas of support and resistance. So not the best time to buy it for a short-term trade. You may lose a little bit, you may make a little bit in the transfer. But long-term, I would just go. And once we hit this 1,000 level where I have the orange box here, we'll probably see another little area of consolidation because this draws out to here. So I think we'll probably see it hit this and do some kind of sideways movement. Now this is assuming we don't get some kind of crazy bull run that just drives everything up. Assuming the market moves organically, we'll probably see it come in here, play around in this box and consolidation a little bit before continuing up to the next level of resistance, which is in the 1150 range. Any questions so far? No problem. Taking a look at Ethereum. So the 1,000 US dollar mark is going to be an area to look for, another range, another area of consolidation, I think, before we make the next move. It's going to make sense for this to kind of coincide with this trend line that's rising. Oh, dear. It's going to make sense for it to line up. Ethereum loves to do that. With Chinese New Year happening now, do you think money will start coming back into the market, in your opinion? Yeah, I do. Last year, this exact same thing happened, guys. I think I showed you guys the chart with how January and February were the worst year or the worst months of last year. And that is pretty characteristic of the financial market. So, once February clears, March to August is traditionally the heavy hitting months where things really shoot. Soon. I think that I think it's going to bounce back pretty aggressively. I've been saying since December that I think we will hit 20 trillion by the end of the year, and I think that's still possible. We are getting a little bit of a slower start than I'd hoped, but once the institutional money really starts flowing in and regulations get on our side, I think people underestimate just how much money is out there that can be thrown at this very quickly. It doesn't take years to sum up 20 trillion in market cap. It's crazy how much money some people have. And I may be off. Oh, I'm not Rain Man, but I'm sticking to my 20 trillion prediction by 2019. We'll see how close I get. So ICOs with Rentberry. So the Rentberry situation, is anybody here invested in Rentberry? Okay. So never even invested in ICO. All right. Well, situation with Rentberry is that they created an ICO that included US, Canada, and China. I believe China was on the list. And then they got hit with regulatory bullcrap and had to refund all of the US, Canadian, and Chinese participants. So, long story short, most ICOs I've seen say no, US yet. Yeah, that's pretty common. But long story short, Rentberry is out of the play for US residents. I invested in it before they got cracked down by the regulatory bodies. And Rentberry emailed me and was like, here's your money back. We can't take it. I was like, great. Because, of course, the Ethereum that I sent them was worth like half of what it was when I sent it back in December. But whatever. Out of luck, I guess. And so, yeah, Rentberry is not in the cards, but it is still a project that I'm really excited about. Yeah, I agree. I really like that project. So I'm waiting for it to, they're doing one of those really long ICOs. So I'm kind of waiting for, I'm waiting for it to hit the exchange, and then I'm going to invest in it. But I'll let you guys know when that happens because I'm keeping up with it. All right. What do you guys want to see next? We've covered the big two that I like to start with. TRX, you guys are killing me with TRX. I think it's just been moving sideways. Oh yeah, ENG was the other one that you guys asked for. but we'll take a quick look at TRX. So it decided to be super mean and head towards the 78 retracement. I didn't realize that it nosedived today. That's really obnoxious. Time and time again, TRX lets us down, doesn't it? So he's like the Trump of crypto. Yeah, we are defying all technicals. There is another area of support here. Now, hopefully we don't go down that far. Yeah, I bet when it takes off, it's going to boom too, honestly. I think this is one of those that's just like being condensed by a spring the entire time. And then the next time it explodes, it's just going to go crazy. But so we have a large bullish candle on this hour, the 7 o'clock hour. So hopefully this is the turnaround point. This is the first really large bullish engulfing candle we've had in the past several days, past week that we've been dropping. So this is a breakout candle. I'm trying to see if there's any other trend line support to look for. Not really. I mean, you could call this a trend line or a start to a trend line, but it doesn't really have any substance yet. It doesn't have any. Oh, you know what? It might though. No, it doesn't. I lied. So this line is kind of arbitrary because you need more than 2 touches for it to be a valid trend line, in my opinion. But it does indicate an upward movement, that we have found support at this level. So fingers crossed that this is the turnaround point for Tron. Yeah, unfortunately, we all got pretty burned by Tron. Everything's been in the dumpster lately, but Tron in particular has been disappointing. The only part that didn't suck was this breakout right here that we kind of predicted, but other than that, it's been a sad time. Now that is a breakout. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully we get this breakout remains and we'll get a retest. One can hope. That is what Tron will probably look like. It's got so many darn support and resistance areas right here that it's probably going to bounce around a little bit. Someone posted that XRP is going away. What does that even mean? Going away? Like going out of business? No. Nah, XRP is not going anywhere. Ripple isn't going to support XRP. Ripple, everything they're doing involves XRP. That sounds like some very poorly orchestrated FUD to me. poorly orchestrated FUD. Here's the thing about Ripple. They catch a lot of heat because they're not truly decentralized, right? And people don't like that. They're like, this is crypto. Everything needs to be decentralized. Well, yeah, but Ripple is smart enough to play the, swim downstream, as it were, instead of upstream, right? Because the big banks currently have control of everything, so you might as well get on the good side of the big banks. Have you mentioned the LTC fork? It was noted by Charlie that it wouldn't happen. It's one of the reasons for the recent rally. The LTC fork isn't happening. No, I haven't really looked into that. I need to. You're saying the light pay thing's not happening on the 26th or whatever it was? Just looking real quick, skimming. So this isn't the light pay thing. This is Litecoin Cash. Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything about this personally, but I also tend to just filter out the BS. I'll check his Twitter though. I think that the pump, I mean, it could be because of that, but I also think that the light pay thing that's coming up is bringing some cool stuff to the table. All right, I'm gonna move on. Lots of requests today. ENG. ENG. Let's. So we came down and did a 61.8 retracement. This was in the middle of the bloodiest part of that crash. Since had a reversal, and now we are came down and almost did another 38.2. Not quite. Not a lot of chart data to go off of here. Oh, come on. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, so it's a 61.8 I was looking at. So it came down and did a 50% retracement, which is also a double bottom. We are making higher highs and higher lows, so that indicates that we are turning around into an uptrend. Nope, not quite. This doesn't quite work. It's not quite parallel, and that's all right. It's not quite as clean as I would want it to be. I've been trying to figure out what it's doing as well. Yeah, good signs are that just based on market structure, we had a high. Oh, actually, we determined that this was easier, didn't we? It's really hard to type with this keyboard in my face, or this mic in my face. Not keyboard. Sorry. So this market structure indicates that we're in an uptrend. There isn't a whole lot else to go off of right now, in my opinion, other than this indicates that it's going to go like this as long as market structure continues. Something to that effect. Oops. And that's what I was trying to find. I mean, we have a pretty significant area of resistance here. Even if this comes up and it hits resistance, that's still a higher high. I mean, these are just, these aren't exact. These are just representative of the movement, right? Because you have to make a higher high, a lower high, or a higher low, and so that's where this comes into effect. Now, this is another area of resistance to look out for, and you can see that just running a quick look at the market structure, we would hit this resistance in two places, right? In my opinion, now is a good time to get in if you're not already in ENG. If you are in ENG, I would just hold on. It's indicating that there is bullish market structure in play here. I'm not really seeing anything that suggests that this isn't going to continue to go up, other than We even have this nice handy support line. I know that's a little bit messy, but that's what I think is probably going to go down. Something like that. I forgot to post screenshots of the other ones. I am a bad person. All right. Oh, I'm forgetting the other ones we had. XRB was the next one that was in line. Oh, it's Nano now. Nano. Really not a lot to go off of here. It's another one that's been really disappointing. I'm down a ton in Nano. The technology is so cool too. That's what's so disappointing about it. Everyone thought that it was gonna blow up when it hit Binance, and it just didn't. Some people thought it was just a little bit overbought. But this is one of those that I'm holding long term, so nothing is going to talk me into selling it. I'm just going to hold it until I die or until I get 100% return on investment on it. So this is a super, super basic analysis on XRB because there's really not a lot to go off of since it got on Binance 1st of February. But this is enough to give us an idea of what to expect. We have a triangle pattern going on here. Now, we broke out of the triangle pattern, dipped and made a new low, all-time low on Binance anyway. And now we have come back up to test the top of that triangle. So we're going to see one of two things, in my opinion. We're going to see it come down and do a retracement before busting through, heading to this area. Oh no, I messed up my drawing. Sorry about that. Or we are going to see it come back down, double bottom, and do the same thing. I don't think we'll go any lower than this, but I've also been a little bit surprised that it's went this low to begin with. And the only reason that I think it's going to drop down more and not just continue busting through with these 3 or 4 bullish candles is that we have a good bit, we're approaching overbought territory. So this will probably bounce back down to around here. I'm at the bottom on the RSI panel, by the way, before continuing on. So that is what I'd look for out of XRB. You know what? And I bet there's a retracement level here too. It's probably at 23. Yep. So we may get lucky and hit the 23 retracement here before continuing on our way. That's a pretty clean reversal, and this could be considered a double bottom here. All right. XRB. Nano. I gotta get used to that. Double bottom is generally bullish, yes. There was another one, fun. Is that what you said, George or Greg? One of you guys? No problem. So this ended up getting tested as, or treated as resistance. Now we're just kind of riding this trend line down the mountain. You can see this big red trend line that we had drawn. It's just kind of walking its way down. Let's see. I think another trend line could be justified here. So, assuming this was the reversal, this is what I would look for. It's probably going to come down and touch this area. It'll probably run to there from there. Oh yeah, if you got in at 5 cents, it'll do 100. I sold it at 20. You will be A-okay if you ask me. Let me check out daily real quick and make sure nothing glares at me. Nothing's glaring in my face. Yeah, I think we're about to see this party turn around. Get your dancing shoes. Yeah, I think we're in good shape on fun. I wouldn't panic. No panicking allowed, though. Ever. No room for panicking. Only chilling and making money. And maybe some dancing. Snove, I'll have to go to KuCoin for, so I'm going to do that one last. So many people did the panic sell. I like how that sounds like such a verbose action verb. So many people did the panic sell. Sounds like a dance move. Not us, though. We keep calm and we huddle for the bounce back. All right, give me another coin, ladies and gentlemen. Another coin. This actually coincides too, so that makes sense. Feeling good about that. You do vibe. Calm, colon, hodl. I've got a couple. All right, remind me to do AIX at the end because I'll jump on KuCoin. I just want to take care of the ones on here first. I'll do XVG, Metal, Vibe. Yeah, I'll do Tell at the end too. Just don't let me forget. XVG, Vibe, oh, so many. All right, let's just start tackling them. XVG. XVG is still in our pretty little box. So I don't really have any crazy updates on XVG, technically speaking. Yes, I did ask. Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, there's not really much new to talk about here. When a coin is stuck in a little consolidation zone like this, it typically, well, it can mean one of two things. It can mean that you're about to get a bullish breakout, or it can mean that you're about to get a bearish breakout. It really just depends. The fact that we have made a higher low, market structure is in our favor, essentially, is what I'm saying. Let me see if I can make a parallel channel fit here without looking super ugly. No, I think it's going to look super... Oh, no, it's not too bad, actually. Would you look at that? I'm going to call that a parallel channel. So, again, we're in a situation of... I hate this tool. Market structure is on our side, amigos. Once it breaks out of there, we could see a little bit more sideways movement. I'm optimistic. We could also see this do something like this and be super lame and go sideways very slowly. As long as it stays in an upward channel, right? XVG has been super lame lately, so it would not surprise me if it pulled some BS like that. But as long as we are making higher highs and higher lows, we are in an uptrend, and that is a good sign. See if there's anything else I see. No, I think we're probably going to see it move sideways just really slowly until it gets, once it breaks out of this parallel channel, the next thing I would be looking for would be somewhere in that neighborhood. If we get a breakout, that's what I'm looking for, somewhere up here. Because that also goes all the way down. It's not very pretty, but it's valid. All right, did I already take a screenshot? All right. What was next? I know Vibe was one of them. I'll knock that one out real quick. What the heck? Well, dang. Look at that. I didn't think it was going to drop down that far, but it sure did. It went down and tapped that trend line before turning around. Now we have found support in the support zone. I'm guessing that's also a retracement level. Yep. Not much of a vibe. No, but this is a good sign that it came down and it touched this bottom trend line. Believe it or not, that is actually a very good sign, because what happened the last couple times it came down and touched this trend line? Touch the trend line, 150% move. Touch the trend line, 140% move. So let's say, for the sake of discussion, there is a trend line here, because that's pretty feasible to think that there is. That would put us at least 100% move. 250 would be nice if we get a nice big bull market, but at the very least, we're talking about pretty nice returns here. Let me see if there's any other lines I want to look at. This one is also something to keep in mind. So I'm looking for potential areas of resistance that we might encounter here. You always want to drag these zones over because they remain valid. And they will help you do your Rain Man stuff until the future. Okay. So let's look at a path here. That would be nice, wouldn't it? A little less than 100%. This trend line's even more valid than I thought it was. So that's what I'm looking at on the vibe front. I realize that is a lot of different colors, but it is what it is. Hopefully I've trained everyone, or hopefully we've done enough of these sessions that everyone can read the basics of what is here. I know it looks a little confusing at times. Two or three times a week looking at this will get you on the right track, though. I'll tell you that. It's a heck of a lot more than I had when I started. Alrighty, so that's what I'm looking at for Vibe. Good news for Vibe. We found the floor, we touched the bottom trend line. Each time that we have hit this trend line, this is a very big downward trend line here, area of support. Each time that we've hit this zone, and I'm actually encouraged by the fact that we hit this zone, because we thought that it was going to catch support here at the 4750 Satoshi range, but coming down and just barely wicking this trend line is very encouraging, in my opinion, especially followed by this massive bullish candle. That just tells me that there was plenty of people waiting for it to hit this area. So I think that's pretty good news. Not a bad time to get in. If you've got funds sitting around, we're sitting at the 61.8 retracement. We have 3 or 4 or 5 consolidation candles in this little box right here, showing very well-respected support at the 61.8. Assuming that we continue on the bull market that I believe we're going to continue to rally behind, we should see a really nice uptrend from here. Okie dokie. What is another one? Let me scroll up. Vibe. TRX is showing signs of life. Should I check that out? Then I'll do salt. Oh, Lord. Good job, TRX. So now we've skipped a step. Now we'll probably see it come down, and we've skipped a retracement. Blew right past it. So we'll probably see that come down. I bet you that's a retracement level. Probably a 38.2. So that's what I think we'll probably see out of TRX. It is moving a ton. It's a lot of volume too. Well, a good bit of volume. It's, everything retraces, but this is a very strong bullish breakout of this downtrend, so that's a good sign. All right, let's peep salt. I think I saw metal as well. I'll do metal next. Oh, salt. Salt. So we had this trend line and box drawn. Came down and we tapped this trend line. We're kind of just stuck in consolidation here, which makes me a little bit frustrated. What we really need to see is a break and retest of, we need to see it because we haven't had a clean break yet. That candle closed bearish. We need to see a clean break and then a bullish engulfing or some kind of sign that tells us that we're on our way. If not, we may see this come back down and tap again. I really hope we don't. But sooner or later, it's going to take off. Salt needs to hurry up. Yeah, it's killing me too. I wish I had more to throw at it, honestly. Salt at this price is a sweet deal. There are some trend lines here as well. I don't know how much I want to talk about them because they aren't really all that helpful. I guess that kind of is. This one is. So we may see this. We may see it come down and hit anywhere along this trend line here before continuing up. Have I heard of Theta? No, I don't. I think so. Oh, I might have heard about it. Theta coin? I think I have actually. Or Theta token or whatever. I'll have to look into it. It might be on my watch list. take a look-see. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for salt anyway. Protocol, next generation video delivery. So they're kind of doing what Flix is doing. Except this one is backed by YouTube, which is an interesting, or backed by a YouTube founder. Co-founder of YouTube. There he is. Interesting. The founder of the Ripio network is also an advisor. That's another big one. Interesting. I'll have to look more into this one. It's not one that I have really looked into, but interesting. I'll have to check that one out. AirSwap. I don't think AirSwap is one that I've invested in. Certainly not a bad time to get into it, though. There's definitely a trend line down here, too. I don't know. So these really long wicks are kind of weird. They seem inorganic. It's at the 38.2 retracement. On this one, I'd be looking for a breakout of this downward triangle. So far, we don't really have any reason to think that it's going to break, but it's nearing the end of the triangle here. It's going to break out eventually. Well, that's kind of an arbitrary statement, but the only other thing that I can see is that, no, not quite. Excuse me. You can see that this has been a pretty dominant area of support, and that's why these wicks have come down and just kind of done some damage and went more right back up into the triangle, kind of totally demolishing structure. I mean, that's a huge move. It seems really inorganic. There's no way that 44% in 1 hour. I call BS on that, but either way, yeah, no volume either. So I don't know what is going on there. That might just be a glitch, but let's assume that it isn't. It did come down and hit an area of support and resistance. This one has a little bit more volume, and that move's not nearly as intense. Still pretty intense though. Still 15%, but 15% in 1 hour is believable. 45% in 1 hour is a little bit crazy. But either way, let's say that we totally ignored those wicks, which I think there's cause for. We would still be looking for this to do something like that. 75% in 1 hour, so it's possible. But usually when you see those huge spikes, it tends to be moving in a direction. I don't know. That just seems kind of suspect to me, but anything is possible, I suppose. That's general thoughts on AirSwap. I think it could drop a little bit more. I don't know that it's necessarily ready to break out of that triangle yet, but I think it will be soon. I'll peep GTO just for the fun of it. So the thing about GTO is, yeah, it went 75% in 1 hour, but it stabilized. The fact that that was a wick is just really weird. Sitting at a 50% retracement in confluence with a trend line. Good sign. This is another one that I have not gotten into, but it's looking good. It's a pretty good sign for it. Just went all the way up here. Cool. Nah. What's the spike percentage? 20, 23. Looks like the candle itself was, yeah, about 70. Nuts. We haven't done power in a while. Dang, that Head and Shoulders played out, but I guess we've already seen that. All right. Excuse me. We're playing this trend line. Let's take a closer look. Nah. This is just really messy. It's going all over the place. Let me think about what's relevant. So this is getting to be a little bit much. I'm going to delete stuff we don't need. So came down and touched the bottom of this trend line. Looks like we broke through, tapped the top of the trend line, and then found support. Found support at this level of resistance. I just want to buy a Lambo, can't relate. Looks like we're aiming for the 38.2 here. We may hit the 38.2 before continuing on, or we may come all the way down. Or we may just come down and double bottom before doing a similar thing. There's a couple different probable scenarios. I don't think it's going to power through from right here, but it might. Power has been really going wild on the consolidation and the wicks and all that fun stuff. So I am confident that this one is going to run again. I just don't know exactly when. I think tapping down, doing a little pullback down to this lower trend line is probably the most probable bet if I had to take one of these. So I wouldn't be buying right this second, but I think that excuse me. All right, I'm going to hop over to KuCoin now. We're over an hour. So wait to buy. Yeah, I would wait to buy Power. I think we'll probably see it come back down a little bit more. I don't really have a technical reason to think that it's going to stop here, other than the fact that it found support in this area of support and resistance here. Ugh, sloppy kiss. You can keep that, George. I'll take the NA Miata. All right. Hop on over to KuCoin. What did I do with my phone? All right, I'll be right back. I got to get my phone for my two-factor. Okay. I mowed the lawn yesterday, or earlier today, so I didn't have my phone anywhere near me. All right. Log in. Sorry about the delay, guys. All right. Man, this is Florida. Of course the grass is growing already. You guys are missing out. Okay, you guys are going to have to remind me what coins you want to see again. But I know TEL is one of them, so I'll start there. I'm willing to bet that TEL is not going to show us much. TEL. There is a huge sell wall on TEL. Look at that. That is pretty wild. It's going to take some... Oh, I had it zoomed in weird. Reset zoom. What are you doing? Oh, no, it didn't. It wasn't messed up. So, pretty big sell obstacles. Good news is we seem to be in an uptrend. We really don't have a lot of data for TEL. But the fact that we have started an uptrend is a good sign. Oh, excuse me. See you, John. The next area of resistance to look for is going to be here, around 50 Satoshi. And I hate that it resets my settings every time. It's going to drive me nuts. Something that looks like that is my TEL prediction. I think we'll probably tap the trend line one more time before we hit resistance and retrace a little bit. TEL is one of my super long-term holds because I didn't have the best entry in the world on it, and I am in drawdown, but it's one of those coins that's so cheap that you just can't afford not to pick a little bit of it up, right? What was the other one you guys wanted me to look at that was on here? AIX? Where's AIX? Come on. There it is. Oh boy. Well, there's not really a whole lot of data to go off of, but what I can say is that there's a pretty clear trend line happening here that just got crossed. That's a good sign. We're also, Med is on gate.io, I believe, or maybe Huobi or Hubio or whatever. I think it's on Gate though. We're basically just at like the lowest of the low point right now. Right in the middle of a support zone, which isn't always the best news because it means that there's room for more consolidation, which is basically all it's been doing anyway. I would just long-term hold this, whoever's in AIX. I still think it's a really cool project. We just got screwed up by all of this FUD that we've had recently, this whole crash. But I think AIX is still really undervalued. Something like that. Now, how long this consolidation is going to go on for is another story entirely. When you're moving sideways like this, it can go on for a while. Yeah. Honestly, I've kind of learned recently that ICO prices are not always all they're hyped up to be. I invested in the, I don't even know how to say it, Ingo, IUNGO. Let me see if it's on here. There's not going to be much market data for it, but where is it? There it is. So I bought into this ICO. Well, I'm not going to make this a call because I don't want to give people more things to have to worry about right now with a recovering market. But if you want something to get into right now, I highly recommend ING. This is a super cool project. So I got in at the ICO price, which is about 3 times. The ICO price was like way the heck up here. So it's way cheaper than I got in the ICO. And it's at a strong level of, oh my God, I hate this thing. All right, it's at a strong level of support as well. This project has to do with creating a network. It's a decentralized ISP, internet service provider. So they're trying to disrupt like the Comcast of the world, which is not going to be an easy task. But if there's any technology that can do it, I think blockchain can. And so it's super interesting stuff. But it just hit KuCoin a few days ago, a little over a week ago. And since then, it went straight down, and then it hit a floor around 20, 25 cents. And this is not KuCoin. This is just normal. When coins hit the exchange, they just dump. I don't know why anybody bothers. I mean, I don't want to say I don't know why nobody or anybody bothers with ICOs anymore, but you can typically get them cheaper on the exchange once they hit. Typically. It just depends. But in this case, you can. So this is one that I believe enough in to get into the ICO. I'm now, it's worth, I paid about 90 cents a piece on the ICO, and it's trading at 30. So it's dropped about, it's about 1/3 the price I paid for it. So this is a good one. I don't really have much technical reason to believe in it, unfortunately, because there's not really a whole lot to go off of here. Other than the fact that we just broke out of that triangle. That's good news, right? Good time to get in, I think. I lied. I might actually call it. As if you guys didn't have enough to worry about. Sorry about that. What's the price? $29.18. Anything under 3,300 is a good price. Yeah, right. All of us are drained from the crash. No one's got any money left to invest. I certainly don't. I'd be buying it right now if I had anything to put in, but I don't. I am not afraid to admit that I am tapped out. That's why I haven't been making a lot of calls, but I'll do this one. Have a cat and two parakeets? It's not going to get you much. A 5-year-old, man. Ugh, I'm good. Those are tough years. All right, I'm not in a big hurry right now. We're way over the time, but if anybody's got any other KuCoin ones you want me to look at, throw them at me. Oh, that's even more wonderful. So I would say you're good to buy up to 3,300. Now, current market price is 29.18. I would just buy it at what it is at whenever you can get your Bitcoin or Ethereum onto KuCoin. That's ING. Okay. Last call for any other. Let's see, any other. Oh, Snove. Someone asked for Snove earlier, didn't they? I do not like coins markets. Oh man, I've had bad experiences with coins markets. It has been one nightmare after another with them. I dealt with them a lot for Ember, and they were not fun. They were not fun. That's all I have to say about that. Oh, CoinExchange.io. Okay, they're good. Very different. CoinExchange.io. I like them. Coins Markets. Is that what you set up here? Coins Markets? Yeah, Coins Markets. CoinExchange.io. I like. Yeah. Coins Markets. I do not like. We've got a really nice parallel channel going here for Snove, so that's a good sign for continued upward momentum. Unfortunately, Snove has just kind of nosedived ever since the crash, but it's starting to look up. Convert Doge to XP. I need to get in. Is it in the XP Discord that they're giving it away? All right, guys. Well, I'm going to have to call it. Discord gives me free XP2, which then I send to my staking pool. Oh, Doge Discord gives away Doge, and then you trade it to XP. You were just stocking up. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to have to IOTA all right, I'll do IOTA real quick. Then I gotta go. Dinner just came home. Very similar story with IOTA sitting in consolidation. We do have a little bit of an uptrend going here, though, so that's encouraging. For as long as we are making upward movement, all hope is not lost. I've been pretty annoyed with IOTA lately, though. We are currently right around the 50% retracement. Hopefully, we're going to see it from here come up and hit the top of this trend line before coming back down and hitting the 61.8 of this old move, which is probably the 38.2 of this short move. Yep. And then probably come up and hit it again. That's my thoughts on IOTA. See if there's anything else. Also a good sign for IOTA. What is IOTA trading at right now? US dollar? Yeah, it's a good time to buy IOTA. Now, IOTA is not one of my favorite projects right now, though. If you've got something to invest, I don't know that I would put it in IOTA right this second. I mean, it's good, but I've lost some faith in it recently. I can't explain it. It did just break out of a pretty large pattern, though. Well, drop me a got in at 150. I would probably just hold it if you have some already at 150 rather than supplement it. I would diversify and get into something else. I think IOTA is cool technology, but I've got this weird feeling that it's not going to do quite as well as people think it's going to do. I think it got hyped up. I think it got really overbought when this whole shenanigans happened back in December, when it shot up, and ever since then it's just been kind of tapering off. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot of evidence to support my claim on that one. I mean, it's cool technology. I think it's a little bit overhyped. So I think there's better options right now. But drop me a message on Discord and let me know what exchange you prefer, and I'll try to help you find a good entry on something. Okay? Happy to do it. All right, guys, I'm going to close this one off and go get some food. I will see you guys next time. I'll probably do another session on Monday, but if anything changes, I will let you know. Thank you very much.